God. I mean, yeah. I'll try.
Praise the Lord.
It just, alhamdulillah sounds so much better than praise God. I don't know why, you know.
Just say hallelujah.
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 And then it's like, hallelujah.
My name is Leanna. I am American. I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is the Midwest, U.S. My parents are also American. I lived in a lot of different states in the States. Moved around quite a bit as an adult, not as a young person. My religious background, grew up in a very religious family. I was baptized at 5. I have an uncle who's a minister. My mom is a church secretary, and I have a brother who's also studying to be a minister. I embraced Islam in my mid-30s. I started out with the Bible, actually. I had questions about the Bible, the authorship of the Bible and the Gospels. And in studying church history, I discovered how they don't know who wrote the Gospels and how it was never written in Jesus' language. And I studied Judaism for a while and practiced that for a while, visited the synagogue. But that didn't feel right for me. So I said, well, there's one more monotheistic religion, Islam, let me study that. So I went to the mosque. I went to a introduction to Islam class they had at the mosque. And it's sort of interesting. My parents separated when I was very young. And my mom married when I was 1, and her husband adopted me. So as far as I know, he was my father. I actually met my biological father later, and he's Muslim. And he entered my life about the time that I was searching. So he sent me my first Quran, and I asked him a lot of questions as well. I knew Islam was the truth. It was very logical for me. And the fact that the Quran, there's only one author. It hasn't changed. It's always been in Arabic. And that was important for me. And it hasn't changed. I joined a lot of groups, and I asked questions there, you know. I have a reputation for thinking too much, and my dad actually told me that. He's like, you're overthinking this, you know. Do you believe it or you don't? But I always had more questions. The biggest concern was my family. As I said, my family is very religious, and I grew up in the church, and it actually did happen. My mother still struggles with it because she sees it as though I rejected her and adopted the religion of my father, who didn't raise me, who wasn't there for me, and she feels like, you know, you're following him. He didn't raise you, he didn't do anything for you, and I'm the one who raised you, and you're rejecting my religion type of thing. Because I was very religious, so most of my friends were as well. So for me to not accept Jesus as God or the Son of God, that was not something that they were willing to entertain someone like that as a friend. So I lost all my friends pretty much. I have a whole new batch of friends, of course. Well, Allah is the best of providers, you know. Sorry. A better relationship with an understanding of who God really is because of Islam. Because, you know, with Christianity, and I don't like to put down another religion, but with Christianity, you have this whole thing. We have to make all these analogies. It's a group of grapes, and one grape is this, or it's water and ice and snow, and they're all forms of water, and an egg and a shell and a yolk, and, you know, all these things. And you don't have to do that with Islam for Allah. It's just, He's God, the one and the only, you know. I chose to be Muslim, and being Muslim is what I want to be. No one forced me on it, and I'm happier. I said, for you, you have all these things with Jesus and God, and, you know, if Jesus was God and Jesus died, so you're saying God died? I don't have that with being Muslim. The God I believe in has no beginning, no end. He doesn't die. He's always been there, and He's always in control. And that works better for me. So, to you, your religion, and to me, mine. Of course, you know, you always grow up loving your parents and, you know, doing to others what you have them doing to you and that type of thing. But Islam, for me, took it to a higher level. Because you have over and over you read in the Hadith and also in the Quran how we're supposed to respect our parents, and how reminders of how they took care of us, and how mothers are a way to heaven for us. So to me, it made me a better person. It increased my understanding of how I should interact with my family and with my friends and with my neighbors, and how they have rights over me. That I have things that they are due from me as a Muslim, as a person. Regardless of what the religion, the race, the country, it doesn't matter. You know, I have this obligation. Someone to tell me what I needed to do to develop this relationship with God. And Islam did that for me. You know, it tells you how to make God the center of your life, and how, you know, your life should revolve around God and not, you know, God as an afterthought. So that's, you know, something else Islam did for me. It's okay to be humble, and it's okay to ask questions, and this is part of life. And just take it one day at a time, and be easy on yourself, and just know that this too will pass.